Just a lovely day out in Algonquin territory. Yes, Manhattan is Algonquin territory. And I just thought we'd have a little bit of nature. I'm an Indian, but I do appreciate city life. City life. Well, it's on my Algonquin territory, so I'm partial. So let's just say I love my land. How about that? Nice bench for you to sit down and join me in our little chit chat. You know, the beautiful day makes you talk like you're high, but I'm not high. Maybe a little bit high on the idea that Indians are coming back, yo. That's a source of great joy. I don't know what it will be like when Indians are in charge. But I know that it has to happen. We have become very comfortable and used to being dominated by our colonizer who never left and never stopped colonizing us. So Indians have to divorce themselves of, let's just say, factions of skin folk who have never had a problem with colonizers' domination. But they made one fatal mistake. The mistake was they helped to sacrifice the majority of Indians of the Americas. Now, they couldn't really reduce our numbers that easily, right? So the next best thing was to genocide us on paper. Paper genocide is very real. And it's not easy to explain to folks. But when I tell you that is almost like the holy grail of our Indian saga, it really is the groundbreaking bit of information that begins our journey. Our journey back to our identity, which was stolen from us when we were called black. And it just happened. And it became the most common thing since sliced bread. We had no idea wickedness could slip in so easy. In a word, it's always been the words. words that were used to create legal gibberish that basically told the world that the Indians just abandoned their land. We just died from the smallpox, y'all. Well, you're very small, and I would say you're probably poxed up too. Your cooties. But, see, sometimes we gotta, as what's the saying, dodge our own hijack. Because we were betrayed, again, by people that look like us. Skin folk, they're still here. And they're still betraying us right in our face. Pretending to be guiding us in the right direction. No, you're not. You're leading me back to where I just turned away from. I'm not going back to this legal system, Moors. Are you crazy? And that's the only solid thing where you can rest assured that you're being betrayed by your skin folk, because it's very hard to tell. I won't not admit that. It's very hard. They come like angels of light, right? Oh, did we move? Oh, we don't have a little light post. Angel of light, you know, sort of like that lamp post right there. I just kind of like the way it looks. And then you got your seat there. I don't know if you have to stand for all this ranting. It is the city, y'all. So it's a bit noisy. I don't know what the hell that was. It sounded like a train. But anyway, we have to let our eyes adjust to the new light in the room, the light of being who you are as American Indians. They call us copper-colored. And then they even took that away. You know, it's like people don't know what copper-colored is. They just changed the definition of a word, and everybody kind of becomes retarded. You know, it was the words, Indians. It was all literally done on paper first. So again, and I'm going to always refer to it, I'm sorry, I know you'll get tired of it, but please hear me out. We must enter into evidence in our court that it was a Moor himself. Oh, and then the name, Amen. His name was Amen Joseph El Chavez Bey, and you know me in that name. I really should always look it up first. This is the author, and I've said this I feel like a zillion times because it's etched in my mind. The author of America is the True Old World. So he's a published author, and he evidently knows a lot about American Indian history. Well, a Moor would. It was him, Mr. Amen Hotep El Chavez Bey, who informed us that this government, and you know, a government is based on a legal, systems, right? So he informed us that the Moors built a two-system government. Yes, we have to we want to have the layout, the basic layout of the major fraud, right? So I'm hoping as I recite this to you and I relay this message once again, that it becomes part of your nomenclature, you know, your notes. The government that is now here, we are told by a Moor who is actually, I want to say, he's really pinpointing. He's really specifying what we already know, but he's saying it in no uncertain terms. He said this two-system government was built by Moors for Moors and Europeans. He didn't say it was built for American Indians. And I think that's the hardest thing for me to convey. We have to look at the so-called indigenous Moors as foreigners when compared to what I want to call us is the uncivilized Indians. Because the civilized Indians, the civilized tribes, have already sealed their own fate. To the degree that they are civilized is the degree that they are no longer representative of the firstborn American Indians. What I mean by that is we have civilized Indians who they've become, I hate to use that word again, but it's a form of retardation. Because in one breath, they want to claim being indigenous, but they don't hold our land holy, and they don't hold our birthright sacred. How so? Well, they're inviting every Tom, Dick, and Harry from everywhere. And again, the fatal flaw in that was, do you civilized Indians not see the millions and billions of other Indians who have been sacrificed in order for you to bring the world here? Oh no, we have a big problem, Mission Control. You don't do that. So not only do you not hold our birthright sacred, you don't hold us, your very own brothers and sisters, in any regard. You stood there as the colonizer called us black, and you didn't fight the good fight. But you see, we're still here. And the debt, the wrong, must be made right. And the sad part is, you already know our system is funky and foul, our whole entire legal system. The United States legal system is funky, filthy, and foul. Yes, we added a new F-bomb. Filthy. How so? Well, we didn't officially do the video, but we're going to let the cat out of the bag right now. In 1787, when the first Continental Constitution was drawn up by Moors, Indians who had been compromised, who are drafting a system for, what did they say? Moors and Europeans. Now, if we do the math, we will understand why they also had to redefine Europeans, right? So they're making everyone else American at the expense of the quote-unquote uncivilized Indians. There was something seriously wrong with civilized Indians thinking. To think that their brethren deserved to be genocided on paper. I'm trying to show you why civilized tribes are no longer relevant when it comes to uncivilized Indians taking back their birthright. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not our friends. Do I need to make it any more clear than that? They never spoke up for us. They never tried to change. They never tried to change colonizers' mind about who we are. They agreed that we are uncivilized. They agreed. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. The most uncivilized were the Algonquins, apparently, because as far as I know, and if you know better, just tell me, they're the only Indians that were removed from North America. And I say it all the time. They were now said to be originating in Canada. Yes. It's so strange to do various Google searches on Algonquin and find so much reference to Canada as if we never existed when we were the first Indians to meet these bastards. How did we disappear? Oh, well, you can kind of do the math there. We had to disappear. They came to take our land. So they had to genocide us on paper. Now, of course, we're still here. There ain't no way they got all of us to be gone. In fact, if we didn't go on that trail of tears, every Indian is still in his home territory, his ancestral territory. So, but Algonquins are never referred to. What they do with Algonquins is they'll mention your tribe name, but they won't mention your linguistic group. I say this all the time as well, which is a unique feature that only occurs with Algonquin. What it is they're using, once again, words to diminish the Algonquin presence on their own land. But we never went anywhere. Everyone, I would almost gamble that every person of color that I see in any radius around me where I live is an Algonquin, unless they came from, the Caribbean or whatever, but probably have, like myself, have one side of your family is North American and the other side is Caribbean. And what I'm saying is Algonquins are still here. They just think they're black. We have a right as American Indians to take a stand against genocide of people just because they look like us. I want to say that there's a lot of talk about, in Indian video land, YouTube land, about doing your own and your own family. And that's all well and good. But we do have a duty to other Indians as well. And what I mean by that is, I would hope that part of our message, which ain't nothing but the truth, is that every person who's been classified as black, Negro, colored is in actuality an American Indian. So we have a system that wants a little bit of genocide to remain even in the midst of Indians waking up. We're supposed to sit back and say, okay, like the civilized tribes did. As long as we're good, we don't care. You could genocide them other niggas. I don't care. No, we're not trying to be like the civilized tribes, yo. We have to, our stand, it's like our work is basically cut out, but that's a good thing. Your work is already cut out for you. You don't have to, make the pattern and all of that. The ancestors already gave us the basics, so the work is cut out. So all we have to do is put it together, get it together. And we have to stress, because this system will revert to lies, as we know. It will very easily revert to deception and lies to say, oh, no, not all black people are Indians. politically, yes, they are. We're playing your game. We're beating you with your game. We're not going to reinvent the wheel here, United States Corporation. Why should we? We want to do what you did, because that's how you're going to undo what you did. So when you said that all Indians are now black, we tell you, yes, they are. And so now you can stop, quote unquote, your paper genocide and your literal genocide of anyone that you call black. That is the work that's cut out for us, y'all. These ancestors didn't come back to play. They came back to clean house. We ain't going to half-ass it. We can't. Again, if we're going to call out what the civilized tribes have virtually done, then we can't repeat what they have done. When you call it out, you can't go ahead and now proceed to do it. And again, what that would be is just sitting back, saying it's all about my family only, whatever. And it is, but it's also about your extended family, because what are we going to do? Stand there and have just our family singing Kumbaya while you watch another Indian get shot or some shit? We can't allow that anymore, y'all. And we can stop it, is what I'm trying to say. We can stop it. And it is our duty. It wasn't done for us when the civilized tribes got whatever they got and then went into hiding. Because as far as I'm concerned, the civilized tribes, the real Indians, have changed their identity, and now these civilized tribes are like a storefront, you know, just to say that there's Mongolian Indians here. But the real Indians are I just refer to them as the black elite, the ones that continue to push the narrative that we're African. Them ain't nothing but Indians, yo. Little offshoots of Indians. I don't think Africans are even that desperate. When I say that, what I mean is when you just do the common sense. Africans don't got no stake in this, except when the delusional Moorish Indians pull them in. But I think they might be even using the Africans to hide behind, because it is only American Indians who have become civilized that have I would say, the most to lose. They have more to lose than Africans, right? Because we're on their territory and they're on our territory, right? What the civilized tribes basically got when they betrayed all other Indians is access to those territories that they assisted in the genocide of the Indians that those territories belong to. So when uncivilized Indians start to come back, we're going to basically be taking our land back, right? The civilized tribes don't know how to exist without the luxury of every other Indian's land and access to whatever resources those Indians had. Right? So they have a lot to lose. They have more to lose than Africans. So what I'm saying is we can say that Africans, are opposition of some sort, but truly they don't really have anything to gain here. And again, what they would gain is going to be through the civilized Indians who, like we read when we talk about Amenhotep El Chavez Bey, he said he has bloodlines that go to Songhai Empire, right? So he's calling in Africans. So then they welcome these civilized tribes. I'm not saying that we can't be welcoming as uncivilized Indians, but we will be welcoming like Chief Powhatan was. Oh yeah, you can stay and you pay me tribute. That's what the deal was supposed to be. But once the compromised Moorish Indians show up, they need people to fill the land of those Indians that they're stealing from, the territory that they don't have, unless they're in a corporation, some kind of corporate federal Indian construct. Now, if we go by linguistic map, which I do believe that is the only map that we can go by as Indians, because it's showing you what territory you had, and that's what you're going to go back to. What else there is nothing else for you to go back to. And if someone is talking about, oh no, we stole your land and we need this part of it, well, then you're going to compensate me, right? That is my territory by virtue of the linguistic map, right? I mean, how else do you correct an injustice, y'all? Right? That's a lot of land going back to Algonquin, Joe. And I don't think, particularly the Iroquois storefront is going to want to give that up so easy, right? Because not only are we going to get our land back, right? Well, we're going to be in charge of it too, right? Well, what use will we have for colonizers to be on our land at this point, when all they've done to this point is try to get rid of us, right? The doctrine of discovery has been denounced, Joel. What are they basing our continued disenfranchisement on? Business as usual? I'm sorry, that's not gonna work no more. It's no longer business as usual, and these fuckers know it. Pardon the F-bomb. They know what time it is, and they're still dragging their feet. So, how do you know an Indian that has been compromised? What are some of the signs? The one major sign of an Indian pretending to be dumb to the situation is that they still want this system. In other words, they feel that all we got to do is fill up those seats and boom, that's it. That's all we got to do. We have to take a serious look at what was constructed on this landmass. Is it genuinely the work of American Indians? Again, we have some big clues, right? I'm going to drop one for you here. Now, again, I said I'm on Algonquin territory, right? For me to believe that the system that is built on this land, the government system that some Indians maybe innocently still think that we can use this worn out rag and make it official just by getting up in it. I challenge that. And again, I'm going to get to why. For me to even begin to believe that Indians agreed to this, that this was a system we built, I would have to see a lot more Algonquin, shall we say, presence. Instead, what I'm seeing is an erasure of even the word Algonquin, the word itself. Again, they'll talk about the Lenni Lenape or any other tribe. They won't say that they're Algonquin. So for me to honestly believe that all Indians agree to this system, there would have to be an overwhelmingly large presence of Algonquin in this mix, and there is not. What do we have instead? Oh, you're going to see Iroquois everywhere you go, baby. And even when they're comparing the Iroquois to the Algonquin, you're going to see the bias. It's very hard to miss it when your eyes adjust to the new light. It's like every effort is made to make sure the word Iroquois is spelled out. And then whatever you look up on, say, in a Google search, it's low-key big-upping this Iroquois Confederacy. So that's the clue to who really was behind this government system. Indians, it's a huge mistake for us to sit up here and say that all Indians agreed we built this system. Well, maybe the Iroquois did. That would make more sense to me, because that's who's getting all the credit for the Constitution, which is a document, as I said before, I'll say it again, that is way fraud ready. It's something is not being overly specified in even the original 1787 Constitution. Something it was too it should have been tighter, is what I'm saying. It should have been much tighter. Now, when I say that, I'll try to give another example. Someone pointed out, when you read a code or a statute that does not apply to American Indians, by the way, they define the words in the first, say, section of the code or the statute. There was nothing done like that for the Constitution. And that was the cat that I was going to let out the bag, and I got a little bit, went somewhere else with it. So here's the situation. The Constitution, once again, was crafted, the first one, 1787, right? What dictionary was that Constitution based on, right? There was none. My research, and again, if you come up with something different, let me know. I don't find a legal dictionary in the United States until the 1800s. The Constitution was drafted in 1787. There was no legal dictionary to define what people were. There was no legal dictionary to define what a person is. And there was barely, when I think about it, I don't think the definition of Indian was even, wait a minute, so 1828. The definition of an Indian came in the American, actually. Actually, that was a good one, that 1828. But it's still, again, the system was built to make foreigners American, and somehow the first people of the land get swept to the side, but we got to make it clear that Europeans are now to be called American. So again, the work is cut out for us. It shouldn't be so hard to understand. But let's repeat this dilemma we have. How does a dictionary that doesn't predate the Constitution get to define what the Constitution means? The drafters of the Constitution, including the Iroquois, I think they should be included, since they're the trader tribe that had so much influence on the Constitution. Where were you to make sure that what you intended, allegedly, because I don't think your intentions were good, to be quite honest, but just to show up the bullshit, where were you to make sure that that Constitution wouldn't later be redefined by some bogus-ass legal dictionary that didn't exist when the Constitution was drafted. Back then, they just depended on regular old dictionaries. You know, it was before a person was magically turned into. Oh wait, I'm sorry. It was before a corporation was magically turned into a person. So you see the hijack there, right? So originally, the word person only referred to basically men and women, right? But a legal dictionary shows up after, and we won't say that again because you got to get this. A legal dictionary shows up after the Constitution was already written, and it redefines keywords in the Constitution. If that ain't fraud, baby, I don't know what is. Do you know that makes the whole legal system void? Because what we got, one of the arguments is, how are you going to redefine what the Constitution was saying? So we could argue that when the Constitution was drafted, there was no definition of America saying, or American, saying that it now Europeans born in America. That didn't exist. That definition of an American did not exist when the Constitution was drafted, y'all. So when the Constitution says a Constitution for the United States of America, who would live in America? Americans, right? So in other words, the whole idea of an American has been redefined in 1828. So now it's the United States for America, but who are the Americans? Well, originally they were copper-colored, but now America applies to Europeans born in America. So was the whole Constitution hijacked to be for Europeans? Yes. Yes. But the Moors include themselves in that because, you know, what we were told is that their seal is on the dollar bill. And I find it quite frightening that the Moors would put their seal on fraudulent money, on fiat. So what they're saying is they approve of a debt system that makes slaves out of everyone. But when you have that white status that the Moors created as well, you kind of can get by. You'll get by as a slave. You're going to always have resources, even when times are rough. You're going to have a nice little nest egg somewhere. You just get paid more in general, right? Because you got that white status, and you're the American. So you're just the highest level of slaves in the United States, I should say. But I want to restate that. Do you see that the Constitution didn't define the words? Even if it did, once the legal dictionary was created in the 1800s, way after the Constitution was drafted, they depended. In other words, that's why they called it a legal dictionary. In other words, this is what the Constitution really mean when it said people and person. You know, those are two key words in the Constitution. What is a person? What is a people? They're redefined to be states. The people are states, we found out. And persons, it depends on what type of person are you talking about. Are they ranked? Well, how are they ranked? So you can't just say persons. So do you see how that fucks with the Constitution? And it would give rise to civil rights when it should have been Bill of Rights if we were going that route. Well, never worry, never fear. American Indians, the ones who really get this, they know what the task is. They know the assignment. What's the assignment? The assignment is, baby, we got to create our own system. We don't have to go by a system, especially with all these blaring issues that revolve around disowning American Indians, making them the lowest in the caste system, and least able to take back their land in their system. And I was saying this to someone earlier. In the United States legal system, there is no how do I say this? There is no recognition of an Indian as being truly sovereign. It does not exist in this legal system. I'm telling you. There is nothing in this system that gives the Indian the authority that he needs to be the one that this government has to come to ask if they can use our land for such and such and such and such, and soon after negotiate how they pay us. We don't have to take fiat. We are the highest authority of the land, Indians, if we don't want fiat, and I suggest we don't. What is the problem with fiat? I'm going to tell you. They control those interest rates. They control inflation and deflation. It's their dollar, yo. You don't control that. So now they pay you a certain amount of money, and then, the interest rates got so high now that everything that you thought was a profit now is almost like a debit and shit. That's why you don't want their money. A lot of us are so in love with the almighty dollar. I ain't gonna lie. Until very recently, I was. But as my eyes are opening, I'm seeing what the problem is when we're attached to their money. I said it and I'll say it again. It's the bait that keeps us locked in the trap. That's what money is, yo. So as sovereigns, we can demand that, no, you can't pay us with fiat. The Queen did it. The Queen did it when she was alive. We have Anna of the State National Bunch that revealed to us in one of her videos that at one point the United States had paid, the debts was, whatever this debt was, it was near completely paid. And we could have paid it off. Oh, well, we ain't got nothing to do with this. Our controllers, our representatives who represent not us, but agents of nobility and priesthood, they didn't allow us to pay off the debt. She demanded that the only way to pay it is by taking more credit. So in other words, you niggas gonna be in debt to me forever, okay? I ain't allowing you to pay this debt, okay? I mean, I'm gonna say it right now, the debt was bogus, we know that, right? We don't owe. How do we owe a colonizer when they're on our land using all our shit? If I was on your land, I might consider that, yeah, I owe you something. I owe you nothing, and you owe me everything because you're still operating on my land. Indians, we got to get with it. At least know what the assignment is, okay? I'm not saying I'm the sharpest all in the toolbox, or the sharpest axe, or sharpest saw, or whatever. But I do know the assignment, and I'm going to give myself that props. I'm going to give it to myself. Again, I'm not saying I'm a lawyer. I work in a law firm. So I think it has given me somewhat of a, almost like I don't even know what to call it. Just an awareness of how the basics, you know what I'm saying? So, Indians, you could change the money. This is your land. How do you want to rent it out? You can tell them what you want. I know a lot of us are going to want money, but I'm saying we could make it twofold. Make it money and gold. We take money and we take gold together. Or something like that. Because gold is problematic. I'm going to be very honest with you, y'all. What we're allowing is a nobility and priest to determine how we pay. And then they choose the things that are least available. So you know there's going to be problems, y'all. Once again, why go with something that's least available to use as money? What sense does that make? You got to try to go with what's plentiful. That would make a whole lot more sense. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, I don't even think they're too excited about gold nowadays. It's owning a human being. We back the money. They put a price tag on our heads, y'all. Now the gold they already got, but every time an American is born, there's a price tag on that birth certificate, y'all. You getting gambled before you even barely open your eyes out the womb, yo. You got a $sign on your head, baby. That's why Indians got to get the fuck out of this system. You don't put a price tag on my head. This is my land. You don't count me in some financial Ponzi scheme on my land. You do that in your. See, that's another thing that kind of gets to me. The fact that America is being used as a puppet. Like, we'll get blamed for shit that we're not even doing. We know who's doing this, right? Well, who colonized America, like, the final analysis, right? And the last, it's all of them, but who's really running the show, right? Right? He came with a Bible, if you need a clue. So that really, we're being puppeted so that we get blamed for all the crap that someone else is doing in our name. And that really should piss every Indian off. But at the same time, Indian don't register in this system, not as a black. So I can say that they're puppeting us, but they'll look at me and say, what? You don't even exist. What are you talking about, boy? That's what they can say to me, yo. Until we take back our Indian birthright, American Indian. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of our people still think that they got to go by their codes, rules, and regulations. Just how we do with money, we could do with the laws. We don't go by your laws. Those are foreign to us. We don't speak that language. At one point, Anna said how you get out of court situations is you tell them that I'm incompetent because I don't speak that language. So, no, I can't go to your courts. But Indians, we much more than that. We have a whole sovereign standing as American Indians. We don't get hauled into their courts. We got to stop taking it that we have some laws to follow. We make the laws. There is that we don't have to do their procedures, their affidavits. We could call it whatever we want. I suggest we don't call it that, but we're saying it has the same purpose in Indian law, We got to take our authority seriously. It's not to be played with. We got to know that what we say goes. We already not part of this system. We were never supposed to be. And how we know that, y'all? It's the way it was done. A lot of this is common sense. Did we make a conscious decision to have a birth certificate? You answer that question. Did our mothers know what they were doing? So that's a grab. What does that mean? That means you had plans. You knew that I didn't know. You knew that my mother didn't know. This was done as it was deception. The contract could not really exist. But once they got that signature, they thought, oh, we got you. And of course, we thinking that this is the law. This ain't no law. This is commerce, y'all. Commerce only applies when you're in their system and it's on the high seas. This is not the United States is not the high seas, y'all. There was no need for them to pull us into a commerce system, besides them needing to steal our birthright and make us like property. Again, there's a price tag on your head. A lot of this stuff is funny because it's like you know it and then we forget it. But that's what going private is about. It's about using their system and the money that they created out of you to sort of like get by. I'm telling you, y'all, that is we are not reaching the mark by becoming private. We're not. We're still on their game board. They created that. They created that. This whole system, at best, was not created by all Indians in agreement. It was assisted by traitor Indians who knew what was going to happen down the... You going to tell me they didn't have this plan? You going to tell me this is an accident that all Indians get changed into black, colored, and Negro? You think that was an accident? Baby, this was planned. And I think we could safely say, between the birth certificate and how we got caught up in the system with a birth certificate, and then further caught in by them reclassifying us behind our back. The way it was done, we heard that. We know about that, right? You wrote down Indian, but you didn't know that you had already sold out. They did. Because they planned this. This is what I'm trying to say. So you write down Indian, and they know, well, the Constitution says Indians are not enumerated, so you can't be an Indian. I'll fix this for you, since you agreed to be black. When did I agree to do that? God only knows. We didn't know we did it, right? We were all... public notice to all foreigners. This is how American Indians were caught up in the colonizers' disenfranchising scheme. We didn't know. They knew what they were doing, and they proceeded without informing us. And it led to now where they're actually, I want to say, that push to get the vaccine, it had to be the heaviest on people of color, American Indians, because we are considered like property. Whereas a white status, you have a little wiggle room, you know? You have a little fighting power, you know? You would be more honored, or you get something that's not exactly what American Indians are getting in your version. If y'all don't understand what the 3-card Monte is about, I'm still in awe that there was 3 different types of vaccines. And I find it highly suspicious. They don't do that with... do they do that with flu shot? Flu shot never had the 3-card Monte going on, did it? No. It was one for all for one, right? This thing comes along, and out of the blue they have 3. Was it necessary? The virus had not even been isolated, but we won't even go there. Because the idea is you can't create a vaccine unless the virus has been isolated. You know that's the word they use. It had to be isolated. You have to break that shit down and get to the, that never happened, y'all. We ain't gonna go there. But what I'm saying is, that's how you know a genocide was going on. An American Indian can talk this way because we have a right to not be genocided. And I'm not talking about UNDRA. We already been through that mess. I'm just talking about the real life. when you really standing on business. Your business, not somebody slipped in and told you that this is your business. This is your legal system. No, the fuck it ain't. I think freedom is going to take a lot of getting used to, but I think really, Indians, we are more ready than we think. We've cried about the wrongs that have been done to us. And now more Indians are becoming aware that none of these statutes even apply to us. Again, we have the Moors saying that they created this system using the Iroquois as the diving board to justify the crime. But now the Iroquois are very much a mixed, politically mixed, and literally mixed. They cater. That's why the United States, it feeds off of immigrants. It's a whole ecosystem going on here. But yeah, again, we had it from the horse's mouth. A Moor said, this system was built for Moors, or we could call them the five civilized tribes, the Iroquois Confederacy, and to the degree that the Lenape are in on this. Those kind of things. This is the system they built for them and their husband, the European. They built it. And what I'm trying to say is Indians wasn't part of that, unless you were quote unquote civilized. What civilized mean? Basically, it means you're a foreigner. If you really break down what a civilized Indian is, it's someone who not only takes on the religion of slave master, wholly and solely, but they mix with slave master, and slave master is busy. I like to bring this to the attention of aware Indians. Slave master is multiplying his side of the family and diminishing your side of the family. So again, all these displaced Indians, displaced by virtue of being called black, their land is up for grabs by your husband and his family, not yours. How so? Because there's a genocide going on, not on his side of the family, civilized tribes. You know damn well that the genocide is happening to your side, your skin folk, because obviously we're not kinfolk any longer. That's what shows the Moors up. If Moors were truly indigenous like indigenous are, this wouldn't even be a question on the table. Do you understand what I'm saying? If all Indians were really Indians, there would be no Indians fighting for foreigners to be here. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're divided, y'all. But the newborn Indians keep thinking, oh no, we got all these civilized tribes advising us on how to become a private national. And that's just like being a sovereign Indian. Oh no, the fuck it's not. Oh no, the fuck it's not. They're misleading you still. This is, see, I broached this topic with some key people in my life right now, and it came out like this. It's not all about bloodline, y'all. This is a political situation. It goes beyond bloodline, and bloodline is not a factor. Why? Because everybody's mixed, right? We know that, right? That's not the point. Is your mind mixed up is the point. Because if you're not standing for Indians being in charge of America and their territory, you're not a fucking Indian politically. Fuck your blood. And yes, I have to say it that way because I feel like we're being psyoped. So you wake up, you find out you're an Indian. Now it's, clean up your bloodline. What you mean clean up? What? The blood is the blood, yo. I gotta clean my mind. That's what gotta get cleaned. That's what can be cleaned. You can't clean your blood. What, you gonna go get a blood transfusion? What are you talking about? Oh, they have an answer for everything, right? No. We're going to walk a little bit because, I don't know. I think it's time to get back from lunch break. I just have a feeling. Okay, so now you kind of get an idea of where I'm at. But I want to stress that point. Indians, stop making it all about bloodline. Why so? Moors don't give a fuck about blood, right? They're more mixed than you are. So how are they going to come to you and say something about blood? We need a bloodline, we need a blood. Fuck that. That ain't the fucking issue. The issue is your mind. The issue is your heart. Do you have an Indian's heart? Do you have a mind for strictly Indians? Because if your mind is global, on some fucking fictional globe, then that means you can't be an Indian. And who has the quote-unquote global mind? The same people who always did. They call themselves Moors. They live on the high seas, y'all. Is that not enough of a clue for you? I never advocate violence against Moors, but I will advocate you cleaning your mind. Can't clean your bloodline, though. You could clean your mind. That's what I advocate. We got to see what the hell time it really is. What's being taken from us is the mind to have our shit belong to strictly us. Anywhere else you go in the world, and people have no doubt that their land is their land, only in America, that's how you know that Moors are not one and the same as American Indians. These are the ones who, how did they get out into the world? It's called expelled. They got out in the world and they embraced those people because they needed an army to come against us. It really is that simple. They will complicate this and give you every detail about like a Gettysburg Address and long ass speech about shit that don't really mean shit. That's what they do. That's how you, that's like it's a spell. They're casting spells and shit. You know, they're using words as spells. So the bottom line is, an Indian has to have the heart of an Indian. And we're going to buttress that argument again. Our people were not about, oh, you're black, oh, you're white. It is, do you follow our customs? Do you understand our traditions? We don't discriminate like that. But the Moors play both sides when it's convenient. When they need it to be about blood, it will be about blood. But when they need it to be about what you look like, which basically that's how we're judged, strictly on look. See, that's what I'm talking about. Why are we making this harder than it needs to be? We were reclassified based on what we look like. That had nothing to do with our blood. Had not a damn thing to do with our blood. Now it's all about blood? No, it's not. It's about that reclassification. Why was I reclassified if I was African? Because I wasn't African. An American Indian is an Indian in his mind, more than his blood. He has to have a mind, he or she has to have a mind for Indians, point blank, period. I'm going to wish you a great day. It's beautiful out here. Until next time, I guess I'm going to post this video. Thank you for watching. And power, peace and power to the American Indians. Thank you again. Look at these beautiful parks and trees and all of that. It's just lovely. Y'all have a highly favored day, and thank you for listening. Until next time, I know it's been a while. But yes, I would like to follow up on these dictionaries, the legal dictionaries. We got to be clear that they came after the Constitution. It's all fraud, y'all. In other words, the argument would be, how are you making a legal system when that dictionary did not exist when we wrote? So what did it mean when we first wrote it? I'm not saying we keep the Constitution, y'all, not by any means. I think Indians need a fresh start. Seriously. But we're calling out the fraud, right? And that's why we have the option of totally doing away with it. Once fraud vitiates the contract. You do know that. So it's not, oh, I found fraud and let's keep a little part. No, the whole thing must be voided. We have a new start, Indians, and I suggest we take it. Thank you again. I think I'm going to close now. Till next time. Stay, be and stay, highly favored, your land back, your identity back, and all the great things.